Hey, what's going on YouTube? One Anti-Hero here, and like I promised, I'm bringing you guys my deck profile that I ran at the East Hartford Regional this past weekend. And if you haven't already, check out my regional report, the last video that I made, and it talks about how I did and what matchups I faced, and overall it was a good time. So I'm going to show you guys what I ran and explain a few card choices and what I would change if I could. So let's get right into the main deck. So, two Sirocco's. I think this is a perfect number because sometimes even 2 clogs, so why would you run 3? I think everyone can agree on that. 3 Shura. I was actually running 2 for a while, but I decided to put the third one in from some advice, and like it made sense. My logic was like you would never get this effect off really in this format, but it didn't really happen. But it's a good black whirlwind, like it searches basically anything, so that's why I run 3. 3 Bora. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. He's the piercer. He wins a lot of games. That's really all I can say. 1 Zephyros. 3 Cahoots. This card's amazing. Now that it's at 3, it actually makes this deck really viable, and it's really good. 1 Gale. 2 Blizzard. I don't know why you would run more than 2. I actually preferably not a big fan of this card, but it is necessary and it gives the deck another dimension, so it's cool. 1 Vayu. Kind of the same thing with Blizzard. Like, I'm not really a huge fan of this card, even though the artwork's pretty cool, but I usually side him out just because, you know, I don't want to say it's slow, but it sucks to draw it, you know what I mean? Every time I drew it, I would get rid of it with cards of Black Feather or, you know, Allure of Darkness. But if, for example, like, if I drew it and then had Egger's Attack, it wasn't terrible, but I don't know, you need to set up plays, so it's like, it takes a little more work than I prefer. So that's it for the monsters. I think it was like 17. 3 Black Whirlwind. I don't think I have to explain this card. It's Whirlwind. Yeah. 3 Duality. This never really clogged, surprisingly. But I think Duality is really good in this deck, especially at 3, because you want your setup plays, you want your Whirlwind plays, so the setup's important. 1 Allure of Darkness, and only 1 Cards of Black Feather. I have a love-hate relationship with this card, so I only run 1. Sometimes I'm thinking about taking it out, but it is good for draw power, so get you out of those bad hands. 1 Dark Hole, yes, I still run this card. I've actually never sided this out, which maybe I should have, but it did pretty good work for me. 1 Book of Moon. I really like this card. This is one of my favorite cards this format, and has been. Like that artwork. But anyways, it did me really good justice at the regional. And then my one preference was the Forbidden Lance. I was actually running 2 of those for a while. And this is one of the cards I would take out. Simply because, you know, when I was playtesting before, like, it was doing me pretty good. But then at the regionals, I hardly saw it. And when I did see it, it wasn't really that big of a deal. So, the one thing I would definitely change is this. I would take this out for a second, Emptiness. Which you guys will see in a bit. I'll explain. So that's it for the spells. And then for traps, there's a crap load of those. 3 Phoenix Chain. This was really good. Phoenix Chain is an amazing card, and I ran it at 3, and I would always side one out. It's a good, you know, side out card because they'll probably side things against you. But I really liked it. I wouldn't cut it to 2. 3 Icarus Attack. This is just a really good card. Get you pluses, gets the setup going, gets rid of, you know, dead BlackWings. You can basically get +2 off this card really easily if you play it right. 2 Mirror Force. These are pretty good. There was only like 1 game. Shout out to my friend Armani, where I was just one of these was a D prison because he basically beat me with his M mains. But I mean, it did me justice other than that all day. And then the one-arms really Solemn, Compulse, Trundle, Mirror Force. Sorry, not Mirror Force, Bottomless. And then 1 Emptiness. The only reason I'm running 1 is because I can only get my hands on 1. Shout out to my friend Jack for lending me this one. The only thing that sucked is during playtesting, I drew this like all the time, but then at regionals I hardly drew it, and then the time I did draw it, they had an out for it. So it sucks, but like this card is really good. I can understand its value, even though it's common. I wish it was hollow, then it would justify the price more. But this card's amazing. I would definitely take out the lands for a second one of these main deck, just because I don't know, it's just that good. The reason I don't, well, I'll talk about that in a second. So let's go to the extra deck. We got some tokens, and then we got some rank 4s, Zero Fiend, and Abyss Dweller, Cowboy, Key Beetle. I actually never went into Abyss Dweller. I didn't play any mermaids. Got Cowboy. I made like once or twice. Key Beetle, even though I didn't go into him that much, he's a really good card. I would never take him out. Same with Zero Fiend. I made him a few times and he worked. Not as great as I wanted to, but it was good. One Cataster. One Graham. Oops. Sorry about that. One my favorite shotgun guy. This card is actually pretty good. HCS Simuth, I believe is how you pronounce it. This card's pretty good. I like this card. This was a ancient fairy dragon that I was told to run by our friends. Shout out to Abner for lending me it. It didn't do me justice. So that's one thing. I would take this out for something, because I only used it once and it wasn't that great. So Black Rose, of course. Armor Master. Crimson Blader. I made this once and it did pretty good. Stardust. Void Ogre Dragon. This is one of the things I really love this card, but I didn't make it enough. I don't think I made it all day, and like when I was playtesting, I made this a lot and it won me games, so like I'm a little upset about that, but it's one of my favorite synchros. Mistworm, I made this once and it did win me a game, so you don't necessarily, the extra isn't that important for BlackWings, in my opinion, but it's nice to have the options, and that's basically what it's for. So that's the extra deck. Another token, side deck. The viruses. I think these are kind of self-explanatory. Skill drains. What else? On the extra deck, shout out to also my friend Tony and Edwin, because they helped me out with that too. Transfiguration Prophecy. This card's pretty good. I only used it once, I think, but it didn't come in handy. I don't know. It won me a couple of the spellbook matchups. Soul Drain. I didn't play any mermaids, so that kind of sucked. 2 Maxi. I'm really glad, actually. I was contemplating main decking these, but after, I convinced myself, I'm like, you know what, let's just go in, and, there's a chance that I'm not going to play all dragons, so it kind of sucks against, like, Fire Fist and stuff like that, so I decided not to main deck them, and it actually worked out really well for me. So I never got 2-0'd, except for my friend Armani. So by the dragon players, it was always close, and it always went into game 3, so like, I don't regret that decision at all. 3 MSTs, kind of stable. 3 Imperial Iron Wall. Shout out to my friend Edwin for letting me borrow these. Honestly, I side these in every time against dragons and stuff. Never saw them, and if I did, it would always get MST'd. So it did win me one game though, so I can't really complain too much. But it didn't do the justice that I wanted it to. So, and then 1 Trap Sun. This I'm probably gonna take out, just because like I didn't really use it. Like I thought I would against like rogue matchups and stuff, but it didn't really do me anything. So yeah, guys, that's the deck I ran for the regionals. Leave a comment if you guys like have some ideas for me, because I'm probably gonna continue running this deck. Because for me it's a lot of fun, and it's overall just, I don't know, a good fun deck. I might take it to the circuit, the ARG circuit coming up. So hopefully you guys go to that, and if you guys see me there, come and say hi to me. That'd be awesome. So I really appreciate you guys for watching this, and this is the One Anti-Hero signing out. Take care.